Hey guys, and welcome on back to Building with Whip. Today is episode 102. Wow, it's so weird that we're now in the triple digits, which is just insane. So things might be looking a little bit different today. So for those who don't know or haven't heard, I'm off on vacation for a few days, so I'm out and wasn't able to record too many things in advance. And I figured it'd be kind of fun to mix things up, do a question and answer session. So I asked for some questions back over on Twitter and in the Discord channel quite a while ago. And I got a bunch of great questions, so that's what we're going to be going through today. I recorded a lot of the footage for what I was just doing, some resource gathering, some dirt gatherings. We're going to be over in a mesa for a bit, then we're going to be down in the mines getting some stone and all that good stuff. So that stuff's all just going to be playing in the background while we're kind of going through these things. Anyways, I thought it could be really fun just kind of do a Q&A session in here. We got a lot of fun questions, so anyways, let's get into it before I blab on too much. Our first question coming in from Dark Diamond. He said, if you had to pick your favorite block in vanilla, what would it be? I think I've answered this one kind of recently, but anyways, polished andesite is one of my favorite blocks if it's used well. You got to use it really sparingly, but I think it can make a massive influence and really change the look of your build of whatever you're doing, whether it's a castle or whatever. I think stone brick can look real plain, stone can look real plain, but throwing a polished andesite in there can make it look really fortified and really cool looking. So I really like that. We got a lot of people who asked multiple questions, so I included a lot of multiple people in here, so you'll hear a few names multiple times, like blah, blah, blah. We got next Volcano. He's asking, if you had to pick one childhood moment that shaped what you turned into today, what would it be and why was it influential? I would say one of these things is actually getting StarCraft 2. When I was a young kid, I was pretty quiet, and I just kind of like to be left alone and play my own games and not really talk to people, totally unlike what I do now. But I got StarCraft 2 Wings of Liberty, and I found out a friend on my swim team had it as well, and we started playing and hanging out and playing games together, and he ended up connecting me with a bunch of his high school friends that went to his high school, and so we all started playing StarCraft 2 together, and actually they're now some of my best friends and still are to this day. They were my best friends all throughout high school, hung out with them a bunch, and that was all through playing a video game with them, which was freaking amazing. So, if you play with games with some friends from school, go tell your parents that's okay. You could keep long life friends from right there, and words are real hard today, apparently. So, next question we got is from Dubs. He's saying, what advice would you give someone about to start a large project like custom biomes, for example, maybe handy tooltips or things like planning and stuff to do? Honestly, I gotta say, just get started. Just go and just do things. Just start the project, start on a section of it, really divide it up and into smaller chunks and work on something that's a smaller chunk. You can kind of see through our custom biome that we're working on, that we're doing chunks of it, and we're kind of making up as we go. Like there's a general theme and general plan for the overall arching end goal of what it's going to be. It's going to be a giant mountain pass, but we're taking it slowly. We're kind of building it up as we go, and we don't have this end goal really set. We have a general idea, but we don't have a specific thing that it has to look like. So if things change down the road or we want to change how it's going to be in the end, that's totally fine because we have the room to be able to switch things up and move right there. So I'd really say the biggest, most important part is really just being able to divide your projects up into small pieces and work on those small pieces and finish those things out and really make sure that each little section you're happy with before you move on to the next one. And also taking a break, that can be really helpful too. All right, next question is from Birdstar, and they're asking tips on making textures. I don't know why you'd be asking me this. I'm probably not the best person to be asking about this, but if you want to know, the thing I look for in texture is making sure it doesn't look tiled. You don't want it to look like you're copying an extra bunch of blocks over and they just look really, really gross next to each other. You can obviously tell there's lines in between them, things like that. Same way with the build, you want to make it all smooth and work together and just really stick to your color palette. You don't want to have too many extreme colors in there. That's pretty much all I got on that. Then we got the next one. Most important question of all, does pineapple have any place on a pizza? From Volcano again. And then, yeah, it does. It really does. Pineapple has a place on pizza, guys. I'm going with that right now. So we got our next question from Nan saying, hobbies other than playing video games. I really, really love going out and hiking, and then also obviously hanging with Coda, our little husky puppy. He's not very little anymore, but yeah, that's probably the two biggest hobbies outside of video games as far as those go. Next, we got Yindy8191 asking, how do you stay inspired to see through a project through to its completion? I got a two different points I want to touch on here. Multiple projects at once really helps me jump around and come back. Like you'll notice most of our series here, we do roughly 10 episodes on one project at most, and then we move away, then we'll come back to it, or we'll move away, then move to another one, then come back, or something like that. Keeping diverse projects is really important because it allows you to take a mental break. You can still be making progress in your world of whatever you're doing and still be reaching your end goal of whatever it is, but you're really being able to take that time to take a step back, let your brain relax and not really stress about it. The second I start stressing about a build, the second I really don't want to do it anymore. So I try and avoid as much stress as possible, even just like mental stress of like, what can we do to make this look cool? That is still like a stressor. So you really want to find a place where you can eliminate those and really just kind of have fun with it. That leads into another thing I talked about a little bit more brief earlier on, but small steps to complete a big project. If you have your end goal in mind, you want to have small steps of what you can do to really get to that point and what you can do to make that stuff happen. Because if you work on, like, say, the castle, we worked on the gatehouse, then we worked on the stables, then we worked on a tower, then we worked on a blacksmith. We didn't just work on the castle. We worked on a part of the castle that led up to the final goal and the final finished project of our castle, which I think it looks freaking awesome. So I don't know about you guys, but that's one of my favorite things ever, which leads perfectly into our next project, or next question from Crown King. That is, what has been your favorite project and what was the inspiration for it? Favorite project in this world, guys, obviously has to be Castle Bleak Rock. It's so freaking awesome. I love the castle that we've done there. It's one of my favorite builds, and really, I had a lot of fun building it because of all of the feedback from you guys. So thank you so much for that. You made that project really awesome. As far as inspiration, where that all came from, I was looking at pictures of real life and fantasy castles on Pinterest. Pinterest is one of my favorite places for Minecraft inspiration, just because once you get it set up for what you want to view, castles, towns, whatever it is, fantasy buildings, whatever, game art, you can just open that up and keep scrolling, and it's an infinite source of pictures. And the more you like of things that you want to see, the more they'll find for that for you for the future, and it's freaking awesome. Anyways, overall favorite project I've done was probably back when I was playing on the Van server in 1.7.10. I built a giant Mediterranean themed fishing village out on a coast with a bunch of triremes and things off on the distance, and it was really cool. There's a lot of vineyards, a lot of different fields scattered around, a little bit similar to how we did White Glen, but more of like a Mediterranean feel to it. So I really loved that guy, and I thought that was so much fun to build. And sadly, it's not here anymore. It got deleted for some drama reasons. But anyways, that was probably one of my favorite builds that I've ever done, just because of the size of it. I think it was like a 200 by 200 plot, and the whole thing was filled to the brim with detail, and you could just walk around and explore so many things, from little caves for like a minotaur to be hiding in, or whatever it was. That was one of my favorite things. So next question, I forgot to write down who this was from, but it says, what content creators inspire you the most? So inspiration-wise of who I really want to I guess my channel would probably be a combination of Scar and B-Dubs. They're probably the two most dominant inspiration sources for me as a creator, of who I kind of see what they're doing and really look at how they portray themselves in their videos and kind of what type of things they try and convey while doing it, which both of them are very much just real. They're very just who they are. I feel like if I saw them on the street somewhere walking around and went up to say hi, they would act exactly the same as they do in their videos, which I think is really awesome. I don't want to be a different person on YouTube than I would be in real life, because I feel like that'd just be freaking exhausting. So you guys get me, and you're going to get me, and that's just kind of how it's going to be. Beyond that, though, two other creators that I really look up to and go for a lot of inspiration as well would be Wells Knight and Rendog. I think both of them are really entertaining and have their own way of kind of captivating their audience and making their channel unique. And I would say all four of those guys, I try and draw a few things from each of them. I recently am starting to watch more Rendog videos, because I kind of want to be able to convey a story more in each episode. So I'm kind of using him as an inspiration for bringing out that story side of things, instead of just be like, all right, we're building this, it's cool, we built it, okay, awesome. But yeah, so that's pretty much. Volcano asked another question. Did you ever try sports when you were younger? So which ones, and how did that go? So when I was younger, I played a lot of sports growing up. I did the typical soccer, basketball, and pretty much everything except baseball until 8th grade. And somewhere, I think 4th or 5th grade, I started doing swim team and did that for roughly 7 or 8 years and had a lot of fun with it. I got to be really good at it. Went to the state championships a few times, but then I hurt my back and really just kind of lost interest in it. And for some reason, floating horizontally on water like hurt it even more. So I stopped doing that and went to play water polo. I know a totally physical sport and really aggressive and all that stuff doesn't make sense at all. But for some reason that didn't hurt my back and it worked really well. And I played that for 3 years and I was really, really successful at it. I went to the Junior Olympics twice and I was hoping to get a college scholarship, but didn't get it in the end because I hurt my back again and couldn't play anymore. So I kind of backed off there. And that was kind of the end of the sports career for me. But yeah, so that's kind of all that stuff. And then next question again, Volcano comes in with another one. He asked a bunch of questions. I tried to only include like 3 or 4 from him, but at least like if other people had asked as repeats, I tried doing those instead. But we got, with the coming changes in 1.13, what are your plans to transition the world over? Specifically thinking about the trapdoors, how the new textures will play into the resource pack and the ocean areas. So as far as the resource pack and the ocean areas go, I'm going to be slowly transitioning the resource pack into the new updated models that Jop is working on because I think I like a lot of them that he's doing these final ones of. You'll see in the resource pack download, I think actually already went out, but we pretty much moved the Nether over to completely his new stuff, which I think is pretty cool. I'm excited to see where he goes with it and kind of see what he finishes things on. I think the only part I don't like right now is his wood planks. And the cobblestone. The cobblestone I hate. It's too bubbly. But anyways, that stuff we'll work on moving that over later. We'll kind of make our own, maybe mix in his new stuff with the old stuff and see if we can't get into something cool looking. As far as the oceans go, I'm going to go ahead and do a video where we basically are deleting all the ocean chunks and we're going to update them into 1.13 when that launches. And hopefully it works. If it doesn't, I'm going to be real sad and then I have no backup plan. But that's the plan right now with that. As far as for updating trapdoors throughout the world, we might do another episode where we just kind of jump around and fix up a bunch of trapdoors because there's a few places like on Castle Bleakrock. I want to bring in like the new spruce trapdoors and fix up a bunch of things in there and make it a lot more interesting, which is kind of how all that stuff goes. And yeah, so then we got Crown King with our last question for today. That is, what do you think your most original feature as a human being is? And he said, besides doing YouTube as a part-time job, which, you know, if I could consider this a part-time job, that'd be pretty cool. I think the income's got to be a little bit higher for that, but I guess what the hours I put in it technically could count. So, you know, there's that. Anyways, I'd say the most original feature I have, trying to like be not generic here, would be like creativity. I would say it's really my ability to kind of not really care what other people think about me. It allows me to be more original and creative and do what I want to do instead of worrying about like what the masses all think. Like, as you guys have noticed, I'm okay with putting out videos that I think you guys might not like all the time, but it's something that I need to get done, and it's something that I want to make a video of because I want to document kind of the whole process of everything going on here. But yeah, that's pretty much what I got for you guys today. I know it's a little bit of a different episode of me just kind of blabbing and talking here and answering a bunch of questions. So anyways, let me know down in the comments below what you guys think about this. If you guys thought it was kind of an interesting thing, if we should do stuff like this more often, these more improv episodes going forwards. But yeah, guys, if you guys enjoyed this, please hit that like button if you did. Subscribe if you loved it, and I will catch you on the flip side.